Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sweet Serenity Healing Messages. These messages are meant to give you hope, clarity, courage, understanding, and whatever else is needed to move forward on your healing journey. Whenever these messages find you, that's when you were meant to receive them. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I deeply appreciate all of your support. You can follow me on Facebook at Sweet Serenity Chakra Healing. And if you would like to donate to the channel, the link to my Cash App can be found in the description below. With that said, let's get started with the mindful messages. Let's see what the first message is. I nurture my body with what it needs to flourish. All right, so what are we feeding our bodies? Are we getting enough rest at night, during the day? If your body feels exhausted, are you taking a nap? Are you getting enough water? Are you getting enough sunlight? Are you eating foods that nourish your body? Are you eating living foods, living things like vegetables and fruits? A lot of times when we are not feeling well, we don't take into account the fact that we are not actually taking care of our bodies. Are we engaging in any physical activity? You know, a body that, how does the phrase go? A body in motion stays in motion, a body at rest stays at rest. So basically, if you don't choose to utilize your body and be active, it will get used to that and it will not necessarily support you, so to speak, when it's time for you to actually get moving. It's just that you've trained it to be that way. So is there any way that you can ensure that when you're ready to get going, when you need energy, when you need vitality, that your body's already prepared to take on that mission, whatever it may be, right? So just some things to be mindful of. When your body needs to flourish, you need to feed it with all different kinds of green vegetables, red vegetables like beets, purple vegetables like cauliflower, or maybe I know a spring mix salad usually has like purple colors in it. You know, peppers, red, green, yellow. You want to get as many colors in there as possible. That way you're feeding all of your chakras, all of your energy centers. The same thing with fruits, pears, apples. Make sure you get that fiber to keep your digestive system running efficiently and effectively. Grapes, watermelon, try to get what's in season, maybe explore outside of maybe what's local to you. So maybe mangoes, guava, things along those lines. And if you can get fresh juices, that may be another good way, or fresh smoothies, that may be another good way, especially if they're not frozen fruits per se. If they're fresh fruits, and even frozen wouldn't so much be an issue as long as there's no preservatives and additional sugars in there. Just to get things to nourish your body, feed your muscles, give you nutrients and vitamins, and keep you youthful, if not anything else. Do it to be beautiful longer. But when it's time to get up and going, to get your mind going, to generate new thoughts, to be innovative, to be creative, Sometimes, most times, you have to tap into the reserves that are in your body and what your body has to offer. And the basics of that is ensuring that you have those nutrients and that energy through regular exercise and movement. Even if it's just a 10-minute walk every day, that can go a long way in terms of keeping your body in shape. So, next message. I am as abundant as all the leaves on all the trees. This is something I came up with. I like to take walks in nature. I like to drive through spaces that have a lot of trees lining the parkway or the thoroughfare where I'm driving. And as I kind of meditate through that drive, focus less on the traffic or the mundane aspect of the drive, but kind of take in the energy of the trees. And I think about each leaf that's on each tree, and if the universe, if the divine, if source is so abundant to put all of those leaves on those trees, that is a reflection of the abundance that we have within ourselves. And if we thought of ourselves as trees, then imagine how abundant we might think of ourselves if we thought we were as abundant as all the leaves on one tree. Now think of all the leaves on all trees and think of how abundant that is. I mean, money is essentially made from the paper from trees. So, if all of that abundance, if you can imagine it or envision it as being the extension of your own abundance, that is what your potential is. Next message. Do you have too much on your plate? We are definitely in a society and slowly transitioning away from this, thank goodness. But currently we are still in a society that supports and even encourages being supermen and superwomen, and the belief that the more you take on, it is a reflection of how strong you are, how good you are, how wonderful you are. And it sounds good, and sometimes it even looks good. But if it's draining you and it isn't keeping you on the path to your true purpose, and you're just kind of spinning your wheel but not really moving forward with all that you're doing, it may be a time to take a step back and assess exactly what's on your plate and determine whether or not the things that are on your plate are actually feeding your overall purpose. Is there things that you can delegate, or are there things that you can delegate to other people in your life? Are there responsibilities that maybe you take on for other people, but the actuality is they need to take them on for themselves? God doesn't step in, or universe doesn't step in and take care of our responsibilities. And a lot of times people step in and take care of other people's responsibilities when that's not their task in life, right? If your child, your spouse, your friends have the capacity to take something on for themselves, then maybe the most loving thing you can do in that moment is to maybe guide them in how to take that on for themselves, versus believing that we're helping them by quote unquote taking that burden off of them. It may not be a burden. It may be a part of their lesson in life. It may be a part of their growth in life. And as much as we may be trying to help them, we may in actuality be hindering them in their growth process, in their development process, in their path towards their purpose in life. A lot of times we don't think of it that way. We just see ourselves as trying to be helpful. And even though intentions may be good, it may be hindering both of you. Having too much on your plate, taking you off of your focus, and not allowing them to actively move on their own path, be in their own life, live their own life. So yeah, it's best, regularly, maybe at least once a season, to kind of assess everything that's on your plate and say, hey, how am I feeling? Does it exhaust me? Am I burning myself out? And what is truly important? How do I prioritize? And am I even missing out on things that I claim to be important, but I am not finding time for or making time for? And how can I make those adjustments to ensure that I'm reprioritizing my time so that I am actually doing the things that I believe are important to me and ensuring that my life reflects that in how I utilize my time. All right. Ooh, right there. Stop giving your energy to stuff that doesn't align with who you are. Okay, so these tie in perfectly. Step number one to do I have too much on my plate is, what doesn't serve me? What doesn't align with me? What doesn't concern me? If you engage in activities, and for me, I might touch on this regularly, but it's usually social activities where you want to be a part of something, but it's more so wanting to be around the people and not so much be a part of the activity. And so you compromise by doing things that don't really necessarily interest you or breathe life into you. Even if it's just like, hey, we're meeting up for brunch, and you're like, yeah, I want to see them, so I'm going to go to brunch. When you have things that you could be doing, like decluttering your home, cleaning the house, creating a schedule for the next week to make things move more seamlessly, prepping meals so that you can get on this health path that you've been on or trying to get on, working out, right? Yes, we want to see the people that we want to be around, but sometimes being able to step away from things that aren't in direct alignment with the direction that we're going in. There will be many days to go meet up for a meal or to go do some other activity that doesn't necessarily align directly, right? So if in fact the objective is to lose weight, to get on this weight loss plan, to change your diet, maybe suggest that the social activity be prepping meals together, right? Let's go grocery shopping together. Let's bring the stuff home and, prep them together. I take half, you take half. That way we're both on this journey together. That way the time that we utilize together is more productive and directly aligns with the objective that we have for both of our lives. And sometimes that's even how you assess how people should be prioritized in your life, is somewhat based upon, is my objectives in alignment with your objectives? If what you want to do doesn't necessarily correlate with the path that I'm on, then maybe we should spend a little less time together, not because I need you to do what I'm doing, but because I may need to spend that time by myself to get on that path, to refocus my energy. And from that vibration, I'll be able to attract other people who are also on that path and on that journey and who can support me in that journey, which allows me to move forward on that journey even further. All right. Sometimes the only closure you need is understanding that you deserve better. A lot of times we get out of relationships, we have breakups, people leave us, whatever sudden kind of dismantling of a relationship. It could be a long-term friendship. It could be, an intimate relationship. It could be a family dynamic even. And you're like, well, why did the person leave? And what did I do? And what could I have done better? And this whole self-talk that you try to diminish, who you are maybe in your contributions, or beat yourself up about the fact that this thing that you had in your life for so long has fallen apart. And sometimes it is the divine that is coming in and saying, no, like I've shown you 100,000 signs as to why this person is not deserving of your time, energy, kindness, generosity, whatever it may be. And you've ignored the signs. And now I had to remove this person from your life because you didn't take the initiative to do so for yourself, to look out for your own best interest. And sometimes that person may leave unexpectedly. And that may be, what really shocks us. And the shock of it is what bothers us. And that's what we don't realize, that's what bothers us kind of more so than a lot of other aspects of the situation. We can't quite figure out, right? Like it's triggered maybe an abandonment healing that we need to go through. Maybe one of our childhood parents either left suddenly or passed away suddenly, or we had some other type of experience in our childhood that kind of reflects that kind of hurt us deeply. And so, it's the sudden leaving that shocks our system and has us believing that we should be grasping for that individual again, or trying to get some kind of explanation out of them. And everybody's not going to give you an explanation. Sometimes they really just don't know why they left. Like I said, it might be the divine that just, made some things happen to shift that person directly out of your life. And sometimes you just got to know, you know what, I deserve better. Like, look at how you feel, assess how you feel at that moment in that time with their absence. Do you feel more energized? Regardless of, what y'all did in the time that y'all spent, how do you feel? Are you less exhausted? Is your bank account having more money because you haven't had to cover them every time y'all went out? Whatever the case may be, that closure can be given to yourself. It's not something that is required of the other individual. And worst comes to worst, you just say, you know what? The divine has my best interest and it knows what I need. Source has my best interest. The universe has my best interest. It knows what I need. And even though I may not be able to see it at this time in this moment, I can know within myself that one day it will unfold. All I have to do is keep going. All I have to do is have faith and wish them the best and continue on my path, because that's sometimes all that can be done. Failures are a part of life. If you don't fail, you'll never learn. If you don't learn, you'll never change. Growing up, especially going to school, grade school, failing is shunned upon. The way that the institution of learning, at least a public school institution of learning, is set up, it is set up in a manner where those who fail are deemed as less than. And the objective is that you excel the first time around, or at least you're average the first time around. And that trains you very well to be an employee to someone else's business. What it does not allow you to do is to find your own path in life and to be an entrepreneur, and to try things and see if they work for you, see how you feel about it, try again. The hardest part a lot of times about transitioning from being an employee to an entrepreneur, especially if you excelled as an employee, is this feeling of feeling like you're failing, the uncertainty of whether or not something is going to work, when the actuality is the whole process is about trial and error. So even when it comes to like your healing process and your growth process, you're not going to get it the first time around. You're going to have to try things, or even changing habits. We try something and we're like, hey, it didn't work that day, so now I gave up. Or I was on this diet, or I started this new exercise plan and I tried for a week and then I gave up, so I must be a failure. And in believing that a failure is a bad thing, we say that, we don't have the capacity to make this change in our lives. When it's about stepping back and reassessing the situation and saying, all right, that route didn't work. How do I change this to work for me? That diet was maybe a little too drastic of a change. How do I make small changes that I can live with for a longer period of time so that this change can be a lifestyle change? How do I go from not working out for the past 5 years to working out 3 days a week for 30 minutes at a time? That's a drastic change. Maybe I should take a little 10-minute walk in the morning, one day out the week. If that works for a month, the following month I do that 2 days out the week, right? But in failing by doing it the first time and seeing that it didn't work, it wasn't sustainable, or maybe it just wasn't a good idea, whatever it may be, that is just an opportunity to see how you can change things to better accommodate who you are, what you're about, what your intentions are, how your energy and thought and mind and body work, right, within this universe, within this realm, and aligning what you're doing with how you're feeling and who you are, right? So if you don't learn those lessons and see those quote unquote failures as lessons, it's going to be hard to make the change that you're looking to make in your life. Okay, next we have Beyond Lemuria Oracle card message. Gonna pick one card from this deck. Okay, so we have Earth Star Chakra Initiation. You are standing at a gateway into the unknown with trust in your heart, ancient remembering in your soul, and inner illumination to light the way. You have access to the seat of creation, the spark of existence, and the codes that hold the blueprints of who and what we are. This place is clear and grounded, despite moving through multi-dimensional realms and able to bridge worlds while functioning in physical reality. The higher you reach for the divine and the realms of spirit, the more important it is to anchor deeply to the earth. All right, so the Earth Star Chakra is actually a chakra that is outside of the basic 7 chakras that are known to the universe. So usually our root chakra would be considered our first chakra. And if you think of it that way, and the solar plex chakra being your second chakra, then the Earth Star chakra would be 0, right? It would be what roots you from under the earth, right? It is what is below the root star chakra. And so the idea is that in order to grow and to connect with the divine, you have to be deeply rooted. You have to be grounded in your energy and have the ability to remain grounded as you have that growth and development. In the same way that trees, in order to grow bigger, they have to have deeper roots into the ground and more roots into the ground. And so it's kind of a as above, so below kind of concept, where the strength above us, what can be seen, is rooted in our groundedness beneath us, right? And so one good way to ground, or one of the easier ways to ground, is to go out into nature, to take a walk, a jog, a run, to sit down on the actual earth, preferably in like grass or dirt. Dirt sounds crazy, maybe soil. um, to garden is also a great way to ground your energy, to actually put your hands into the soil. If you want to be fancy about it and practical even about it, just having a picnic in the park on the grass, where you're actually sitting on the grass, or maybe go to the park, lay out a blanket, lay down, read a book, something as simple as that. Or going to the park and maybe getting on the floor and stretching. That also helps. As I speak on that, even yoga. There are ways to ground your energy in certain poses in yoga that are aligned with rooting our energy and grounding our energy. If you look into crystals, these would be your root chakra crystals. I believe carnelian also speaks to the root chakra. So it's usually your black crystals, your darker crystals, your crystals with darker hues. Even, I believe this is chrysocolla, if I'm not mistaken. It also has root chakra qualities. So it's not only the heart chakra, but it's also the root chakra. And labradorite, it is third eye, but it is also root chakra. So crystals don't only possess the qualities of one chakra, they may possess the qualities of multiple chakras. And if you're looking for grounding chakra crystals, a lot of the times the way to identify them is how dark the crystal is. All right, so let us get a gateway oracle card. Oh, and sorry, by the way, these are all black tourmaline crystals. And usually root chakra crystals assist with grounding your energy in the manner of either blocking out negative energy outside of you or transmuting any negative energy that's around you into positive energy. Not only the energy that's around you, but any negative energy within you. It helps to ground that energy. So, or transmute it into positive energy to eliminate it even or block it from coming in if it's coming in from the outside. So that is how it assists you in this grounding process. And I know with carnelian, in terms of its properties, it definitely helps to rejuvenate energy. And that is how it feeds into the root chakra. Right, let's see. Standing firm. I am noble, brave, and strong. So let's take a look at what the book has to say about that. Standing up for yourself. Stand up for yourself and don't back down. Stand up for those who can't protect themselves. Believe in yourself and hold firm to what you know to be true. You are a force for good. There are times to step down and times to negotiate, but this situation doesn't pertain to those. You need to hold high the banner of truth, grace, and compassion. Honor your values without denying the values of others. Remember what is truly important in life and let go of everything else. Questions to ask yourself. Is this the time for me to stand my ground? Whom or what do I need to face with strength and fortitude? What might be blocking me from standing firm? All right, so sometimes in life, we don't always stand up for what we know to be true. We may observe things that aren't right, and we believe that standing up for them might put us in a compromising situation. For me personally, I know in different work environments, even if I wasn't personally being mistreated, if I saw that other people were being treated in a manner that made me uncomfortable or I felt wasn't right, it was definitely something that I vocalized and stood up for. Yes, it did have an impact on my upward mobility. But what it also informs me of was the fact that this company is not for me because they do not uphold the values that I uphold, and they do not treat people in the manner that I want to be treated. So it's not always about will I be okay if I stand firm in my truth. Sometimes standing firm in your truth allows you to better align with what is best for you and what is the best reflection of you. So don't be afraid to stand up. Don't feel the need to demonize what other people do in order to stand in your own truth. Be able to stand in your own truth without having to refer to what the other person is or is not doing, or to say who's right or wrong. If you know that someone should not be disrespected regardless of the position that they hold or where they are in life, then say, I don't think that was very kind. I didn't find the way that you approached that to be necessary. I would appreciate if that's something that you wouldn't do again because, that person is not deserving of that treatment, period. But yes, being able to stand firm in your truth allows you, in my opinion, to attract what definitely aligns with who you are, what you are, the values that you hold, and the objectives that you're trying to bring to light, your intentions, things along those lines. Lastly, we're going to pull a Moonology Oracle card. And if this message is resonating with you, giving you hope, courage, clarity, understanding, motivating you in any way, fashion, or form, definitely support the channel. Like, share, subscribe. I appreciate all of your support. I'm here to help uplift the community at large, the universe at large, whoever taps into this energy, to share love, light, and positive energy at all times. So having your support allows this message to get out to more people, and I definitely appreciate the ability to share this energy with as many people as possible. All right, so let's look at this Moonology card. It says it's time to release negativity. Full moon in Scorpio. If you've been feeling paranoid and acting weird, take this card as a very direct message from the cosmos to stop it. Worrying yourself is pointless. It is time to release any negativity you have around the situation you're asking about. If someone has been unkind to you, perhaps it's time for you to release them. This card heralds an emotional, intense time since both the full moon and Scorpio themselves are both extremely intense. It's time for you to feel all your feelings. There could be some nastiness in the air when you pull this card. If that's the case, take it as a sign to move away from anyone or anything you feel is toxic. For some, however, this card has a totally different meaning. Your sex life can improve now if you make an effort. Use your magic. You have all you need inside you to bring about your desired result. And the affirmation is emote. It's all better out than in. Emote. It's all better out than in. The teaching for this card is the full moon in Scorpio has a sting in its tail. It can herald a vindictive end to a relationship. It can also be a time when we want to be good, but we're naughty. If you pull this card, no matter when, your dark side and your shadow self may be showing. The full moon in Scorpio is a time of magic. If you were thinking of making some magic, this is your sign to do it. So this could actually tie into your standing firm card. Sometimes when we realize that something doesn't resonate with what we believe to be right and true and honorable and to have integrity, that understanding, that knowing, that realization may be an indication of the fact that we need to release whatever it is that we're a part of that gives us this inclination. So whether it be a friend, a family member, a co-worker, a work environment, a church environment, whatever other activities that you engage in on a regular basis, if you're finding, or not so regular basis, if you're finding that when in this space you feel this discomfort about how things are transpiring because it doesn't resonate with your own understanding of integrity, then that may be a sign that it's time to let it go. You know, you always want to stand firm, and standing firm doesn't always mean that we fight against things, because that's not where our energy should be going. You know, if people in the environment don't seem to be aware of the fact that they're doing something that is hurting someone else, then of course, you know, you state it in the most compassionate way possible. If this activity continues, the best boundary to build in that situation is to remove yourself from that situation. Don't allow it to anger you, because you cannot make other people do what you want them to do or what you believe to be right. You can only, you know, focus on what you can do for yourself to change your own personal experience. That experience is not your responsibility to change. Your responsibility is to align with what is best for you. And once you take yourself out of that situation, you let the universe know that this is not something that you're willing to tolerate. And so the universe will align you with energy that is in better alignment with who you are, what you value, what you find to be right, true, and good in life, right? Towards positive energy. All right, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it, and I hope you just enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks.